Welcome to the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, the #1 source of urban conservative information in America.
Well, good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Good evening, good grief. Oh my. My name is Willie Lawson, and welcome to the Morning Report. This is a special edition of the Morning Report. This is a post-debate, presidential debate Morning Report with our friend, let me point to the right direction, there you go, our friend Paul Swanson of the Swanson Report, and he lives on the the ass end of Canada, way up. He called it the most northern outpost, but you can see Canada from his house. If the Earth wasn't curved, you flat earther.
That's right. That is correct.
Anyway, we, like Paul was saying, we bit the bullet, so you didn't have to watch the presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. Yes, it was everything that you thought it would be. Yes.
and more because
and less.
More and less because ABC said it was supposed to be 90 minutes. It ran an hour 45, hour 47.
An hour 45. Now, didn't you ask me what if I took the under?
Yeah, you did.
Didn't I say 85 minutes?
You said 89. And it wasn't. It was 90. It was close to 100 minutes.
And 100 minutes of what? That's what we're here to talk about for a little bit. 100 minutes of what?
It was It not much. Not I'm sure, and I wish I would have seen that was not available on, because I was watching on YouTube, so I don't have broadcast TV here, so
I was
watching.
I chose to watch on YouTube here on my computer, so I got to see the Bernie Sanders commercial and all all that mess too.
It was the Long John. No, it wasn't Long John. It was Red Lobster and some other commercial I saw here.
Oh, cool. Red Lobster. Yeah,
that's back in business now, but we digress. Yeah, it was not pretty. She started out, initially, there were blatant things that she started right off the bat. Oh yeah, this is Trump's 2025 plan. Yeah. Wait a minute, that has been debunked. I mean, that was in like the first 5-10 minutes.
So you have an advantage kind of over me. I didn't get in right at the beginning. Did she actually attribute Project 2025 to President Trump's campaign? Really?
Yep.
How?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and to be fair, both on both sides, they made assertions that were not substantiated or questioned. And at that point, I think I sent you a message. I said, hey, the moderators had completely lost control of the of the entire event.
Well, and I replied to you, I think that was the plan. Because you know what? If this is a calm, cool discussion without hyperbole and rhetoric, nobody wants to watch it.
No, we'd all fall asleep. Which
I remember in 2016, Paul. I remember because I went to that. I was actually invited to the CNN watch party of a Republican debate here in Tampa, and it was the first time where there wasn't chaos. One of those, and the first thing on, if you remember the Drudge Report, we don't talk about Drudge anymore. But anyway, we won't talk about Drudge anymore.
That's ancient history.
Drudge, who the hell is Drudge anyway? on my way home, I get to the Drudge Report. I'm driving home, and for the first time, it says, for the first time, it was boring.
Oh,
It's finally boring, or something like that. I still think I have the screenshot of it somewhere. I'll have to dig that up. But nobody watches if you don't have drama. Everything's got to be Housewives of LA or Housewives of Atlanta. It's got to be that level of drama. So the idea of trying to keep a tight rein on this, that was really never the plan.
no, that wasn't. And I really, I can't even read my own notes here. The very first question they went to was the economy. Are you better off, the old,
are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Yeah. And neither the vice president nor former President Trump really gave a definitive answer. They kind of hemmed and hawed about, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to,
I want to make it better. A chicken in every pot.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and nope, she hit, the vice president hit that, that statement many times about a child tax credit and money for first time home buyers and money for new, for people who want to start new businesses. But no, not a single thing about how are we going to pay for that? You've got a country that's what, 3 trillion in debt. How are we gonna where's that money coming from?
It's going to come from the top. It's going to come from the top 10, the 10th of the top 1%. That's where it's going to come from. Thank you, Bernie. Sit down. Go wait in the car.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to come from. People are going to pay their fair share. Whatever that is. Anyway.
Yeah. They never do want to say what that fair share is, or how do they calculate that fair share.
That fair share is how much ever they can get from whomever is already paying. So we know what that is. But this whole incredible idea of the economy and how are you going to fix it? We're never going to get somebody who's going to say, you know what, this is super complicated, but we're going to start here. We're going to start with energy prices, because what we know is that energy prices, I don't know why, my frustration with Donald Trump is always this. Donald Trump had scoreboard. Donald Trump had scoreboard in 2016, 17, and until we got into COVID, he had scoreboard. All you have to do is put up a picture of here are the gas prices when I was president. Here's the gas prices 2 weeks ago. Why did that happen?
Yeah.
And what happens when fuel prices go up? And it isn't just gasoline, it's electricity.
It's diesel for the trucks.
It's diesel for the trucks that bring the stuff. Nothing in this country moves unless it gets put on a truck.
Yep.
All these things. I mean, and everything goes back to that. He could have just stayed there all night and said, and he did make some allusions to it later when he talked about the XL pipeline and then the Nord pipeline in Russia. So he did make some allusions to it. But I think if you hammer that point, that's the economy's stupid moment right there.
Yep.
That didn't happen. I didn't get in until they started talking about the Israeli Hamas war. I love how Kamala Harris is always like, well, she always thinks that she wants to get back to how this started. Like somehow the rest of us weren't paying attention. like she's the only one who has the right perspective and on how these things started. Yeah, we know Hamas, which is a terrorist group that a lot of Democrats support, murdered 1,200 innocent Israelis. Yeah, we know that.
Yep,
we know that. So, and how do you say that Israel has a right to defend herself, but it's important how she does it? You can defend yourself, but you can't defend yourself like that.
No, yeah.
What sort of autocratic nonsense is that?
That's well, and again, for time for a whole nother issue is she got into, not related to that, the Israeli stuff, but also the Afghanistan, which is closely related to that, is the fact that we are still supporting the Afghan Taliban kerfuffle that's going on over there to the tune of a whole bunch of money.
Still.
I don't know what it is right offhand, but I can't quote the exact figure. But our tax dollars are going to Afghanistan in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. So that's still going on, and that we're supporting the same issue that we're not talking about how we're going to pay for the tax credits and new housing and everything. And former President Trump kind of got into it a little bit with Ukraine. Like, hey, his thing would have been great if he'd have said, how about can we get a accountant to see where is that money gone? The 250 billion or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What are we getting for that? Where has that money gone? Do we need a forensic accountant?
Yes.
Yeah. That would have been
Yes.
that would have been it right there.
It's funny though. I tell you, like you and I have talked about in the past, and we'll talk about in the future. I've not have in your time of watching these throughout all you can remember. Have you seen any of them where you watched and you went, "Huh, I hadn't thought about that before. Maybe I'll consider this person over there now." Have you?
No. A lot of platitudes, a lot of
hyperbole, a lot of all that stuff, all that campaign stuff, but nothing so solid that I've ever gone, huh.
Who was the
I like that Obama guy. I think I'll vote for him now instead.
Yeah, who was the wish in one hand and in the other?
Yeah, basically. So that's part of why this exercise that the media presents is about useless. Anyway,
yeah.
So to get a little bit in the weeds, when she talks about Hamas, as I know, because I don't know, I thank you, Mom, for teaching me how to read when I was 5. That's
yes.
It's really come in more handy than you could have ever imagined.
That's right.
Hamas is a governmental agency, not just some random terror group. It's a governmental agency that's in charge of Gaza. It's in charge of making sure they have schools, make sure they have infrastructure, all that stuff.
And has been for years, decades.
They have failed. They have failed.
Oh my goodness, they failed
miserably. Miserably. Failed is not nearly a strong enough word.
No.
It would be malfeasance, really.
You can look that up, folks.
So Hamas isn't some sort of band of freedom fighters. That's the government in Gaza that they chose. That's responsible for all the stuff. The Israelis, they have been self-governing in Gaza all the time, all this time.
Yep.
And that's something that nobody says. Gaza is self-governed. The Israelis don't govern Gaza.
I'm thinking that's been since what, 67 war?
Yes.
Maybe?
Shortly after the 67 war.
So yeah.
A lot of people like to behave like, history didn't, like the world didn't start till after they were born.
No.
But this has been going on for a whole long time. And so the idea is Hamas has failed. And now somehow Israel is somehow responsible for the failures of Hamas. I wish someone had mentioned the president's plan to build a, what did he build? Sort of this.
Well, it was a pier.
This pier to get supplies in, and what happened with that pier?
Sank after about 30 days, or inside of a month. It was underwater, not just financially, but actually physically underwater. Yeah. Nobody bothers to say anything about that.
It just that whole thing just went away like it didn't happen. It just got memory hold like it didn't happen. So when you bring it up, they go,
there was nothing that was ever said about that.
No. Absolutely insane. So and then just after, Kamala Harris mentions that the world, all these deals in foreign policy that Donald Trump came up with while he was president, and some of his staff, some of his fired, disgruntled staff says that that he was weak and the world was laughing at them. My question is, if Donald Trump was so weak, Paul, why was the world so quiet then?
Exactly. No wars for 4 years, no conflicts.
I mean, yes, and so the idea, it's funny though. You remember when Barack Obama said he was going to talk to the president of Iran, and people on the right, I mean, honestly, some of them lost their mind.
Yeah.
Remember? You remember?
Yep.
So what Donald Trump does is say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go talk to Kim Jong-un. I'm going to go walk across the border. So this dude goes to the border and walks across the border to talk to Kim Jong-un.
Yep.
Because I think he knows that Kim Jong-un is a bigger egotistical narcissist than he is. I think he realizes that.
Yep.
And so what he does to keep Kim Jong-un in his pocket, goes and talks to him.
And what's our supposed, who's our supposed
Anthony Blinken? Anthony Blinken, he nodded?
No. No, the vice president's boss, who's been spending the last 5 weeks on the beach.
Oh,
he hasn't gone.
Chilling.
He hasn't
gone to anybody.
If in fact he's actually in charge. I've raised that.
I don't ever believe that he was in charge. I don't ever believe that Joe Biden decided anything in the past 3.5 years.
No, not at all.
I don't think that that Joe Biden hops out of bed up up in the family quarters at 5 a.m. Brushes his teeth, puts his teeth in, or whatever the condition of his teeth are. Gets a cup, has the coffee waiting because the staff knows that President Biden needs his coffee by 5:02 a.m. and when he gets dressed, goes down to the Oval Office and gets on the phone and gets to work. Now that doesn't happen.
Nope, not been happening. He's
making calls, getting people out of bed. Nope. No, that's never happened. I don't think Joe Biden has decided one single thing in his entire presidency.
No,
I think all these things have been decided for him.
And I'd like to know, they didn't. I don't think they talked. They talked around the border. They didn't talk real, other than quoting numbers, but there wasn't anything really of substance there. Nobody asked Kamala when she said, or the vice president, I should say, the vice president, she said they've had the largest increase in the American oil industry since they've been in office.
What does that mean?
And I'd like to go, huh? What? They've sold off most of the strategic reserve.
I remember that. I mean, she mentioned they're the large. I mean, more gas being produced, and it's like, but no, you haven't. No,
No.
you haven't. You know,
And or gas leases and things like that. They're not doing it. There's not if there was that much more gas, oil, natural gas, that sort of stuff, gas prices here would be about, they'd be back down to $2 a gallon rather than 3.30 or 3.40.
yes.
That's not happening. Nobody pushed back on her stating that Capitol Police officers died during the January 6th. She made that brazen lie.
Just kept saying what people had been saying. I've told you for years, Paul. I am always impressed to a degree how the left can just say stuff, know full well it's not true, but they will just keep.
And that's and I saw somebody comment when she said something about, and she also went on to say about Charlottesville. And I saw somebody in somewhere, said, why didn't former President Trump say to the vice president, excuse me, but even Snopes has debunked that.
Yeah, really, seriously.
Just to say, hey,
even PolitiFact, says that's mostly false. Come on now.
You're so far off base with that. That's just laughable.
But that sort of rhetoric is red meat to the left. They've been saying they just keep saying it. They know it, and they know it's not true.
It's a talking point. I will give the vice president credit. It took her until 9:22 to bring up the race card.
Oh, but she continues. But she continued to say, and this is what I thought was interesting. When the question was something like, "Do you think it was appropriate to bring up Kamala Harris's race?"
Yeah, that's exactly where she brought it up. I mean, that's where she played it.
Well, here's the deal, though. But I think Trump's answer was pretty good because he was like, "I don't care. I don't care."
Yeah, exactly.
But what I read was before that she wasn't black, and then I read that now she was, and that's all I said. But the idea was that how dare he say anything at all? He was like, "You could be whatever you want to be. Okay." But I'm telling you, sitting here in this skin for the past 64 years, what I do know, and I am hearing, and I'm hearing from I'm seeing a lot of young black people who are saying, wait 1 minute. This woman was the first Indian American vice president, and now she's black. And people are saying, well, she may be black.
Well, let's say it correctly. She's a woman of color.
Now,
hey,
it's funny. You might remember my friend Shirley Huzar.
Yes.
I miss her so much right now. She mentioned early on. She said when they start using phrases like people like people of color, what they're doing is they're diminishing the influence of African Americans in America. That's the plan. Because African American, doesn't mean as much anymore because people of color can mean anything other than a white guy.
Unless I go out and get sunburned, and then
unless you pull a Rachel Dolezal on us.
Yeah.
And even that was okay and allowed because Rachel Dolezal, the little blonde, blue-eyed white girl, became the president of her local NAACP and used bronzer, blackface, and then was accepted by a a portion of the left as African American. Why? Because she says she was.
Yeah, I like a lot of these things, and even in the what's been going on up to this point and the debate, there was really no substance to really any of the almost 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes of stuff. No, and just what this earlier this week, was it Monday? No, maybe last week, they finally, her website finally put up some plans, some policy.
And until then, it was
it
just a fundraising website.
Yeah, it's been nothing but that for the most part up until about the last week. And then you've got to drill down. I mean, if you look at former President Trump's website, he's got it here. Here's what we're going to do, and it's point by point. He's got, I think, 47 points that he wants to. Here's what I want to do. And hers is all this platitudes and stuff, and you got to drill down in order to find out what's, where stuff is.
Yep. Well, because they're not, because you know what, it isn't what's going to pull them across the line, because for them it's not about policy, because frankly, policy for them isn't going to change.
No,
it isn't going to change because it's about, Democrats for years, from what I'm seeing, have been more about what it looks like than what it is.
Yep, it's feelings. It's what does she call it? What's the vice president?
Joy, hope, and joy.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing substantial, nothing concrete, just good vibes.
Nope. Just good vibes. Everybody's supposed to feel better about themselves. And even on her website, though, it has some points, and I'm not going to get into all of them, but it says cut taxes for middle-class families, grow small businesses, some of the same stuff we talked about before. And at the bottom of that, in red, it says Trump's Project 2025 agenda. Continuing to repeat the lie.
Yep. Yep.
And ensure safety and security for all. There's 4 points. The 5th point is Trump's Project 2025 agenda. Keep America safe, secure, and prosperous. There's 3 points. The 4th point is Trump's Project 2025 agenda.
And we know that none of the institutional media is going to call her out on that.
Nope, they will not.
It would be nice. It would be nice
it's not going to happen.
If Heritage Foundation would call her out on that. Hey, it's our plan,
and we've had it for years, because it came out of that book. They've had it for years. Nothing about Project 2025 is new. Not a single thing. It's basically, and I downloaded it and read through as much as I could get through, and it's great. If you're a policy wonk, this is a Bible. This is such good reading for you if you're a policy wonk. Most of what it talks about for the most part is making sure that you have a plan day one if you get a conservative president. That person has, has a roadmap to follow early on, and making sure you have the right people in the right places, which seems to make sense to me. But it didn't have anything to do with Donald Trump. Zero to do with Donald Trump.
No, and it should be. You would think that the folks at the Heritage Foundation would go, guys, let's call it what it is. It's our plan, not Trump's.
Yeah, and we've had it forever.
And quit calling it that. That's
if Donald Trump wants to adopt, any or some all or some of the things that we've suggested, that would be great. But his campaign did not come up with this, not at all. Nope. This is ours.
He stated, very, very early emphatically on, at the very early on in tonight's event, that nope, I haven't read it. I don't want to read it. He's got his own agenda that he wants to push, and he's not at all enamored with or wanting to do anything with that. So,
well, that's what they keep talking about, and this idea. That she's talking about about race, and then of course she spits back with that Trump is about dividing the country by race. That's comical, Paul.
Oh, yes.
It's comical. I mean, she goes back to mention the Central Park Five, when everybody in New York wanted to see those people hung. Everybody in New York wanted to see those people hung. She mentioned the birther with Barack Obama, which came out of, as you know, and seemingly most other people know, the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Yep.
He should have said, "What the hell are you talking about? You should ask
I
your
mean,
friend.
yeah.
You should ask your friend Hillary Clinton about whether Barack Obama was a citizen, because that came out of her campaign."
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously the Trump 2025, the those there's half a dozen just out front lies that they are that they continue, the vice president continue and her campaign continue to put forth, that nobody's called the vice president out on.
Not
except
at all.
Us. We've done it.
And I do it, and I try to do it most every day.
Yep, we do
every day. All right, let's finish up with the last big one was Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act. The truth about the Affordable Care Act is this: it was so expertly written to be a big weed, if you would, that is strangling almost every aspect of government.
Yep.
I mean, it's freaking everywhere.
Yep.
It would take a long time to get enough weed killer to root it out. And that was the plan.
Washington bureaucratic kudzu.
Yes. Very good. Very good. So it would take a very long time to go in there and start weeding that out for sure. And it's one of the things that I think that Trump was honest about. He had a choice to really work to try to get it repealed, or because frankly they were kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, they did.
And that I said that early on. I mean, I said that early on, way back in 2010 when it was signed. That the longer it lasted, the more difficult it was to get rid of, and that was the plan. Just to hang in.
Of course, that's like any bureaucracy, any bureaucratic plan that comes up. Yeah, if you don't cut it off at the start, forget it. It's going to continue to grow and fester.
Yep, it's like it's like the Tyrannosaurus debt, Schoolhouse Rock. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and wants more. It's a Leviathan. It wants more. It wants to grow, and unless you cut it off early, you're going to be fighting it for a very, very long time. A very long time.
Exactly.
So unfortunately, we get to the point that you hope that the best thing you can do is manage it, because getting a bill to get rid of it, first of all, that bill has to be at least 3 times bigger than the original bill, which was something like 1,200 pages.
Yeah, wouldn't have been a big book.
It was a huge stack, as I remember. So the idea is that
it'd be as big as the IRS, stuff.
Well, I don't know. I don't play with that stuff.
No,
iOS. I'm on the other side. We just get a pamphlet. We get a pamphlet, front and back. That's it. Don't mess with it. Great, won't do it. And nope. and we name all of our operating systems after desserts.
There we go.
You know, Android names all their operating systems after desserts.
Yes,
that's cool. Yeah, it makes me smile. Anyway, but this idea of bringing, it's interesting. This idea of bringing up Obamacare. Why? Why was that a question in this debate? Why?
Don't know. Yeah, like I said, the moderators, such as they were, they lost control early on, and yeah, their frame of their path of questioning or questions, yeah, left a lot to be desired.
Well, before I called you, I think I watched the very last bit of it on the Steven Crowder page, um, and Crowder, and the person he was with, said something I thought was interesting, is that as far as the debate goes and the influencing of this person or that person, that was kind of a wash, but it was going to be. What we did see again, we continue to see, is how the media is in the just in the tank for the left, just completely in the tank for the left. And what you saw was, and like you mentioned, no real follow-up questions for
nobody
for the vice
pushed her.
president.
Yeah, nobody pushed her, but in either, no pushback on either side, either the vice president or former President Trump. No follow-up. Now, I will say, to the vice president's credit, she didn't cackle one time during that whole hour and 45 minutes.
And that's kind of the thing that I wanted to end with here. The bar was so low.
Yes.
For Kamala Harris. Don't cackle. Don't look. Try not to look goofy.
Don't do all of these wild gestations.
Let's try not to to do any of your fake accents, and make yourself look stupid and even any more disingenuous than you actually are.
Yes.
And so for that, I guess that's all her people need to see, because that the second that we stop this and we go out and look at CNN and MSNBC and whatever and Washington Post, they're going. I mean, they're going to be lauding her performance. Like she's the best. It's the best thing that could have happened, and the walls are closing in for Trump. And
the only thing you can say about the vice president is, from the institutional media, was she didn't lose.
Yes. Washington Post. Harris keeps Trump on defensive right away. Trump attacks Harris over Biden administration's record in fiery exchange on economy and foreign policy. Charged Trump op-eds are already written. Trump charged into the trap. 10 columnists on the debate. I mean, just there you go. If the GOP wins in November, expect an uninsured rate to spike. Yeah, it's not that piece. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Today's opinions: have Harris and Trump tried to hug it out? Pretty funny. Who was that? Dave Goins. Anyway, but yeah, so
they walked. I did watch the very end. They both walked to their respective corners, and didn't. There wasn't a handshake or anything at the front, or like there was at the start. Wasn't a hey, nice, thank you for debating, that type of thing. They both walked off opposite ends of the stage.
That's fine. And you know what? And that for me, that's fine. I don't care about that.
That was good.
Let's see what the headline is for the New York Times. What do you think? Something similar, I bet.
Not that I trust anything that they say, but
it's almost the same headline, Paul.
Oh, well,
Harris puts Trump on defensive in fierce debate.
I bet you if you look at any of those, the Chicago Tribune, the LA Times, San Francisco Chronicle, all going to have the same type of or words to that effect.
Let's see. The LA Times doesn't have that big headline yet, other than Taylor Swift.
It's only 8:00 out there. They haven't woke up yet, or 8 p.m. They're still figuring it out.
Yeah, I guess they are. Trump says crime is soaring. Immigrants are to blame. The data tells another story. Sure. Abortion quickly emerges as flashpoint between Harris and Trump. All the best and worst moments. I didn't see that. Harris attacks
Is
Trump.
that is that really one of the more important issues?
Yes, it's right here. It's in the LA Times. Well, yeah,
Must be.
it's in the LA Times. So it's got to be. Come on, man. Come on now. Come on now. Let's see if I can do one more. Let's go closer to my house because a lot of people don't know, but the
Atlanta Constitutional or whatever.
but people don't know, but that PolitiFact was part of the Tampa Bay Times, which is now TampaBay.com, which was we called Pravda back in the day.
Yes.
Let's see if they've got anything up. And strangely enough, they did some live fact checking in PolitiFact, so I'm not going to click on that right now. I'm just not going to. They don't have a big headline like the others do, but I imagine they will in the morning, and we'll cover that on the morning report tomorrow morning. Paul, before we get out of here, how can people find your stuff? Because you write about this stuff all the time. See, Paul is, of the two of us, he's the only classified, certified journalist. I'm just a big mouth.
Well, just because I went to journalism
school.
Yeah, I did.
Paul I was learning how to play saxophone and drinking beer. So what? Like I said,
paulswanson.com, and most of our stuff is then forwarded to the Morning Report on Facebook, and also the Swanson Report on Facebook, and all of the usual suspect social media sites across this fair land, far and wide,
across the world.
Yes, indeed, and it's we're we'd like to see more folks on a daily basis, but we're seeing, I don't know, what, 30 to 50, depending on what, 30 to 50 a day, maybe.
Yeah. And you know what? And I always charge people with, you know what? I know that you come here and I know that you watch and I know that you read. Just share with somebody else, because it's going to be, and that's going to be my battle cry from now until November 5th. Share this with other folks, because you're not going to get this on some of the sources that I just went to, the Tampa Bay Times or the LA Times or Chicago Tribune or Washington Post, New York Times. You are not, or USA Today. I used to like them. It was such a cool new paper, USA Today, but now it's not. Now it's crap like the rest of them.
No, they've lost their mojo. They've lost the shine is off of them.
It is a fight for the presidency. Who won the debate? Harris puts on aggressive performance versus Trump.
Nah,
that's your headline.
Don't think so.
Well,
Well, I'm sure we'll see lots more. There'll be a overabundance of pontification in the morning, to read.
And in small writing under the headline, here's that phrase again: Kamala Harris had Donald Trump on the defensive.
That talking point. That's the talking point of the night.
Yepers. All right, Paul, just like always, good times. Give everybody your house a hug from everybody in this house.
Yep.
And we will continue to do the things that we know are right to do.
Exactly.
All right, we got to get out of here, because where I am is a lot later. Well, it's a little bit later than where Paul is. I'm old. I need my nap. I'm like Joe Biden. I need my nap.
And anyway, I did not have a nap. I did not have a nap today, so
I didn't get one. I didn't get one either, and it isn't because I didn't try. I'll be honest with you. It isn't because I didn't try. I didn't get one. Anyway, we got to get out of here, maybe for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, you take care of yourself, and we will see you when we see you. Bye bye now.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, folks. Thank you, folks.